So yesterday we had some pretty good boxing events, and I'm here on this Sunday to break them all down to you. What's going on YouTube? Rags here back with another video, and today I'll be giving you guys my recap of the weekend and what happened in boxing, the results, who I think should be next, and my thoughts on the fights. Now the first fight that we will cover happened over in the UK, and it was Joe Joyce versus Filip Hrgovic. Now this was a good fight that many people sided with Hrgovic to win the fight, including myself. And Hrgovic went out there and kind of sort of had like a lazy type performance, as he was sitting on the ropes for a lot of the fight. A lot of people felt that it was extremely lazy by him. And a lot of people alluded that he could potentially be losing rounds, by, sitting back on the ropes on that, using that lazy type of style. Now, me personally, I didn't really think too much of it because at the end of the day, he was landing the cleaner shots in the fight. And in my opinion, that was what was winning him the rounds. Joyce was kind of sort of just swinging with his head down, slow as molasses. His defense was bad. But Hrgovic really could have got him out of there earlier. Or he could have got him out there early, I mean. Hrgovic ended up winning by decision. Who should be next for Hrgovic? That's actually a good question. In a perfect world, I'd love to see Hrgovic face someone like Richard Torres Jr., who we'll talk about later on in the video. But realistically, I don't know. Now, the next fight that I'm going to talk about is Abdullah Mason versus Carlos Ornelas. Now, Abdullah Mason versus Carlos Ornelas was a good fight, and which we saw Abdullah Mason get in some rounds finally. It was his first 10-round fight of his career. And Ornelas was definitely a worthy opponent. He came and he brought the fight to Mason. Obviously, he was outmatched and outclassed here, coming in on short notice. But it was good to see Mason get in some rounds to kind of, be able to take his time with one of his opponents. Ornelas was able to land some good shots throughout the fight. He was able to, even hit Abdullah Mason with a few, overhands, It was a pretty good performance, but Mason continued to pile on knockdowns, and he continued to get, delayed reaction type knockdowns, and he got actually 3 times. And by the end of the 7th round, or the 6th, it might have been, Ornelas was asked, before like the round, do you want to continue or something? And he kind of walked out and did like a lazy, walking. He was just like, it was looking wild, like he was off balance. So that prompted the referee to stop the fight, and Mason was declared the winner at the end of round 7 or 6, maybe, I forgot. But it was overall a good performance by Mason. I'd give it, an A. He was able to, he was able to break down his opponent and stay patient. That was my biggest thing, the patience with him. Now, in the co-main event of that card, we saw Elvis Rodriguez face Linfoldo Delgado, and bad decision, I would say. Now, this was a decision that I felt I could see coming, with Delgado being top ranked, guy, him having an extensive amateur career, and top rank kind of wanting him to succeed in the pros. But at the same time, it was kind of like, dang, man, because Delgado pushed forward. He brought the pressure the whole fight. However, he wasn't letting his hands go or throwing anything. So it was kind of sort of like, you know what I mean? Like, huh? Like, it was a weird fight. Elvis Rodriguez boxing off the back foot beautifully. He was able to utilize his jab. He was able to, land the 1-2 a few times. He was able to land the right hook, being a southpaw. And overall, he was he was winning the lead foot battle. And he was able to land his left hand more than Delgado was able to land his right. But this was kind of what I was talking about earlier in the video with the Filip Hrgovic fight, being on the front foot can kind of sort of win you rounds, especially in close fights, where not much is going on. And I felt like that was what was going on in this fight, I do feel like Rodriguez got the wrong end of the decision there, but I honestly feel like they should run it back, because if they feed Delgado to the top of 140 pounds, he gets picked apart relatively easy, in my opinion. But I know that's probably what Top Rank will have to try to do with him, because he's either 30 or 31 years old. So I don't think he really has too much more time, you know what I mean? But I would love to see him face Rodriguez again, but if they don't, I expect to see, someone at the top of the division 12-0 him or something. Now, the next fight that we'll talk about is the main event of that top ranked card. Um, Richard Torres Jr. versus Guido Vianello. Now, Vianello came in hugging a lot. It was just honestly a sloppy fight, man. Like Torres is in there. Torres was in there just smothering his own work. Like he would come in with his hands down and throw, and it would just lead to Vianello just clenching up. And I believe the referee took a point away from Vianello like as early as round 2 or 3, which was a bit odd. It was a bit early, but it kind of did set the pace, for Vianello to stop all of that clinching later on in the fight. Which, I mean, like I said, Torres was kind of bringing it to himself, by just smothering his work in on the inside like that. But overall, it was a decent fight. Torres was able to get in some rounds. I wasn't really too impressed. If this is the future of American heavyweight boxing, then we are cooked. But I will say it was good to see him get in some rounds. And I can't wait to see what Top Rank does for him next. And for Vianello, maybe he'll just be testing prospects from now on. I don't know. And for the final fight of the weekend, we had Tim Tszyu face Joey Spencer in Australia. It was a good fight for as long as it lasted. Tszyu was able to get in there, land some pretty good shots early. Spencer looked game for the first 3 rounds, but I seen at the end of the 3rd round, he kind of went to southpaw and used Philly shell. Now, if you know boxing, then you know you're not supposed to do this in an open stance matchup. Open stance matchup, Philly shell takes a lot of experience and a lot of experience in training. And I don't think Joey Spencer had that, because once he started doing that, he started getting hit with some more stuff, So he started off round 4, back in orthodox. But however, the confidence that he let Tszyu get from the last round by, landing those shots at the end of the 3rd round, went into the 4th round. And I'm not sure what type of defense they teach in Joey Spencer's gym, but that shit is not good, because he was getting hit with everything Tim Tszyu was throwing there in the 4th round. And his corner ultimately threw in the towel. So that's my recap of the fights that happened this weekend. You guys let me know what was your favorite fight of the weekend. If you guys liked the video, make sure you subscribe and like. And yes, sir, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.